My name's Kate, I'm 18, the one on the right. Yep, that's me. I don't dress and act as a normal person would. If you see me, you would instantly realise the real me, the me that I used to try so desperately to hide. I come from a pretty run-of-the-mill or nuclear family, also very cockney. A mum, a dad, a brother and a dog. My upbringing was the same as everyone else's. I was taught manners and how to interact with people and not to be shy. So I lost my nan and granddad at an early age. It was a traumatic time in my life, but I got through it. But the loss of a best friend recently has whacked me out of sync. But neither of them have any impression on what I am now. My family is a reasonably close-knit unit. We spend time together, okay, so we argue. It's mainly me and my younger brother, but what family doesn't argue, right? But there was always a part of me that I felt scared and ashamed to even admit to myself, let alone share with anyone else, especially my family. Something I thought I could keep hidden. I thought that the feeling would just disappear, but there was things running through my head. The feeling of thinking I was bullied or excluded. Thinking everyone would disown me and forget the person I truly am and not what I was keeping as a secret. My family would disown me as a daughter, as a sister. My friends would hate me for what I was. They wouldn't want to come near me in fear of what might happen. But the feeling didn't disappear. Every day I would go through the same turmoil, trying to silence those voices in my head. From the age of 14, every day going through the same pain, you eventually crumble. You feel like you're disintegrating. Your mind and body eventually feels like it's going to shut down. I knew one day that I would have to admit it to myself and others that I held dear to me, whether they liked it or not. If they didn't accept me for the way I was, were they really my friends? Did they really love me the way, like they always said they did? Did I really mean that much to them? I came out as a lesbian in March 2012. Sometimes, even now, I struggle to say that word, lesbian. Ugh. It's a lot easier for me to say I like girls to someone who doesn't know. It's also the exact sentence I wrote in my coming out letter to my parents. It took my mum especially a while to accept me for what I am, and even now it doesn't get spoken about in front of my parents. My dad guessed. Funny how one of the parents always knows, right? My brother to this day still doesn't know. There was always a light at the end of a very long tunnel. My friends, well, they're amazing. When I told them, nearly every reply was, "Yeah, Kate, we kind of guessed already, babe." I wasn't expecting anything like that. All the scenarios I played through in my head never came true. Now for the communication bit. My Johari window has changed quite dramatically as I've grown up, as everyone else's does change, but my hidden area was the biggest possible part out of everything when I was younger. I knew in myself what I was, but others didn't know. I didn't want anyone to see what I was. But it turns out that both my hidden area and blind area were exactly the same size after finding out my friends and my dad knew what I was and I didn't know that they knew. Compared to last year, my persona was very different. I adopted the role of something that I wasn't. I wasn't being sincere to myself or others around me. Trying to accept myself brought about the performance mask aspect of self-presentation. I presented a performance that I most desperately wanted to be sincere, and I thought about that my observers believed it. Obviously they didn't, as I previously stated. My front stage was very different to my backstage. My public performance was me trying to portray a straight version of myself, whereas my backstage was where the real me came out when I was shut away in my bedroom, when no one could see me, and I was safe from everyone's judgment. My self-concept has also changed. My self-image, or the way I see myself, was a bit in limbo, and I didn't know what to think. My ideal self, or the way I wanted to be seen, I was pretty certain about. For years, I wanted to be seen as straight. My self-esteem was at its lowest possible point, and my personal judgment of how worthy I was as a human being was seriously wrong. Sometimes we face conflict as the people we are. Whether gay, straight, black or white, I, of course, have experienced conflict in the past year, but I'm not afraid to be proud of who I am in public. Okay, so I don't wear pink and have glitter and rainbows plastered everywhere when I go out in everyday circumstances, but there's always other people who can work out what I am, and I don't shy away from people opening up to the millions of constant questions I get asked. A gay male is socially more accepted, and people think it's more common to see in everyday life. In general, men are portrayed in TV programmes and films as very ultra-feminine and acting more like a female than us girls do, whereas lesbians are portrayed as very butch and always feminist. Okay, so the majority of feminists are always lesbians. But they don't all hate men like they are portrayed to. The question I always get asked is, why do lesbians want to look like men so much if they hate them and don't fancy them? Everyone is different. Lesbians don't hate men, they just don't fancy them. But lesbians can generally be separated into two categories, butch and femme, also known as lipstick lesbians. Both like women, both dress and act however they want. In summary, people dress and act however they want. It's natural.